So, here we are. Little bit late, but we're here. Welcome to all our wonderful people, people from Singapore, Malaysia, Southeast Asia, right here at the Sydney Melbourne Touring. We're here live from Gippsland. Yes, Gippsland's one of the most beautiful regions in Southeast Australia, in Victoria, and it's definitely it's the main part of the Sydney Melbourne Touring route. And we're going to welcome from Sydney Melbourne Touring route, Anthony Jung. How are we?
Hey George, I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks, Anthony. How's everything going?
Oh, it's fantastic. Look at this weather.
It is great.
And more importantly, look at the view.
That's right. And also,
Yes.
just to let the viewers know, that we're live here at Jetty Road Retreat, which is halfway between the Sydney Melbourne, sort of halfway between Sydney
if you're
Melbourne
on the Coastal Drive.
Touring route, Coastal Drive. Beautiful place. We had a beautiful stay here last night and today, and we're going to talk a lot about that very shortly. But also, because we're live, ladies and gentlemen, you can also have a chat. So in your screen there is a chat button. So if you want to ask us questions, more than welcome to ask us questions. So let's start with it now. Remind our viewers, Anthony, what is Sydney Melbourne Touring Road Trips?
Yeah, so we promote self-drive road trips between Sydney and Melbourne, and it's a great way to link the two cities and also our capital city, Canberra. As you can see on the map here, there are a couple of twin routes you can do. So the blue line is the Coastal Drive, and then the Inland Drive, the orange line. So where we are today, if you can see on the map, there's a place called Lakes Entrance, and there's a place called Bairnsdale. We're sort of in between that on the Gippsland Lake. So we're going to focus on that Gippsland Lakes area, which is absolutely stunning. And it's one of the undiscovered secrets for international visitors here in Australia. I think it's definitely one of the best places in Australia to visit as well.
Absolutely. And you've got some really good accommodations here in Gippsland. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so apart from Gippsland Lakes area, we also have a few other great area where we have accommodation. But just before that, George, as you can see on the video here.
Oh, look at this.
This is
yes,
earlier this morning, and we went out with Steve and Kim, the owner of Jetty Road Retreat, and we did a little tour around the lakes here in Meetown.
Look, it's just the animals.
Went for
the bird
coffee.
life.
Life is very tough here, as you can see. It's a great way to explore the water here. It's very calm, as you can see. Beautiful bird life. It's just abundant of birds here. That's my colleague Paul. Looks like he's enjoying his time. But as you can see, a very clean water, very calm. So you can do a lot of water activities here, especially for our Southeast Asian friends. I know some of you might be a bit scared of over the sea tropic water, but here at Gippsland Lakes, it's absolutely as calm as it can get, especially on a day like today. I can't swim, but I can even go out and do a bit of kayaking, no problem at all.
No problem, and the air is crystal clear. Smell it, and look at the view. You can't get better than that.
Yeah,
so
I just feel like I want to move here now.
That's right.
Quit my job, and then when I retire, I'm gonna come here.
And we're here at Jetty Road with about accommodation. So tell us more about the accommodation.
Yeah, so there are a couple of other places in Gippsland where we have great accommodation options. So one of them is Walhalla. So some of you might know this place. It's a little tiny village along the inland area in Gippsland. It's absolutely wonderful. You can see they have a great accommodation here called Walhalla Star Hotel. Very beautiful. It's sort of one of those places where it's so quiet and you just want to sort of stay there away from the technology and just sort of chillax, as I call it. As you can see, the village itself is very picturesque, especially in autumn as well. Beautiful leaves in autumn. And there's another place sort of far along the East Gippsland, just before you cross up to south coast of New South Wales. It's called Gypsy Point. As you can see, the waterway here goes all the way to the ocean. And then there's a little patch of white patch there. These are actually accommodation area in Gypsy Point. And we have a great accommodation there called Gypsy Point Lakeside. As you can see, absolutely beautiful waterfront accommodation. There's a little swimming pool there as well. When you wake up in the morning, the view of water is right in front of you. Having a cup of tea on that deck is absolutely wonderful. And Aussie wildlife, that's what you can see in the region here at Gypsy Point.
In the wild,
the kangaroo just sort of jump up to you in the morning and say hi. Can't get better than that, can't you?
Absolutely not. So today we're going to focus on a small patch. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so today we're gonna focus more sort of on the Gippsland Lakes area. So a few major towns here, Meetown, Pennsville, and Lakes Entrance. But also where we are today, Nanguna, which is about only 10 minutes drive from Meetown. It's absolutely beautiful here, and it's a great place to sort of definitely stop on part of your self-drive trip. At least one night, but I would say if you got time, two nights, even 3 nights, it's absolutely wonderful. And this is also not far from Great Alpine Road and some of our ski fields. In fact, it's only about 2 hours drive from here to one of our ski fields. So it's great to sort of combine that snow activity in winter along with your coastal drive activity. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Well,
Yeah.
for this Singapore Malaysian market, it's Mount Borbor. So
Yeah,
Mount Borbor
exactly.
region is very, very popular for the snow.
Yep.
But that's great, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch up with you during the rest of the show. So
Yeah. And
let's thank
also,
Anth.
yeah.
Oh, you
and
want
also-
to say something else?
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually sent my colleague, who's my boss, but he's not paying me very well, so I sent him out to on the field jobs. No, it's a joke. He pays me really well. So, so he's gonna go to a couple of hotspots along Gippsland Lakes
Yes.
area, and then I believe he's gonna show us a few hotspots of wildlife and accommodation as well. So we're gonna sort of catch up with him during the show, but I'll come back.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Yes.
Anthony, it's very insightful.
Thanks very much.
Insightful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we'll start. Well, let's thank Anthony. It's live TV because we're going to introduce our next guest with from Destination Gippsland. All the agents out there would definitely know Alison Conroy. So welcome, Alison.
Thank you, George.
How are we?
I'm really great.
Really
How
great.
could you not be?
How could you not be? I mean, this is one of the best jobs that you can have.
I know.
Representing this amazing region,
Very
and it's a
hard day at
region
work.
that is. I'm sure you know about it, but once you come here, you'll want to make it your number one target, especially for your customers. So, Alison, how do you get to Gippsland?
Well, obviously on a self-drive itinerary, Anthony kindly mentioned Walhalla as a stopover point, but you travel out through, and there's a very complex map there, but you can see the big thick line that directs you right out through that middle section, stop at Walhalla, and then hopefully take in some of our beautiful little villages on your way to the East Gippsland, Jewel in the Crown Lakes region.
It looks well. That's what else? What makes the Lakes region so special?
Well, obviously everything here focuses around our beautiful lake system, of course. Anthony kindly mentioned our 3 villages of Meetown, Lakes Entrance and Paynesville. You can see some really great images there of that lake system. It's the largest inland waterways in the southern hemisphere, and what that means is even if you have no water experience at all, you can hire a boat. You don't need a license. You can kayak, you can stand up paddleboard. We have an operator that will teach you how to do that, and you can really enjoy everything the lakes have to offer. We even have our own species of dolphin, George. So
look at that.
you can fish, of course.
It's a marine wonderland.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a really special place, and minimum 2 nights, longer if you can, because it's really worth stopping and just enjoying nature at its best.
Yeah, well, we were on the water all morning this morning,
We
which is
were.
fantastic. But what else is there to do off the water?
Really good question. Thank you, George. So off the water, we work with a couple of operators who do cycling tours, so Snowy River Cycles and Venture Out, who do the kayak tours as well. Also can take people on a tour by bike around the region. There's also a lot of activities to do in nearby villages. So you can go and visit Buchan Caves, 400 million year old cave system. Now Buchan's only a short drive from the lake system themselves, so a really nice trip up into the mountains, enjoy the village, and of course get in on one of those guided tours. You can visit Raymond Island, which is a koala capital. I would like to rename it Koala Island, and Paul will talk a little bit about that more later. Further north we've got Kurrajingalong National Park, the Thurrow River Sand Dunes, the beautiful beaches, Point Hicks Lighthouse. There's just so many things you can actually do in this region to really enjoy your holiday. Yeah, lots of hiking. Yeah, it's great. It's a great spot to just relax.
It is a wonderful spot. I'm just admiring the view here.
Yes, so
We can't get enough of this, really.
Exactly. We've got a 90-mile long beach. I mean, the chances of seeing other people on that beach are pretty slim, and even if they are there, you've got 90 miles to share.
Look at that. Looks fantastic. Well, and I hear, I'm just admiring the view here.
Yeah.
But I hear there's some great places for food and wine or food and drink.
Absolutely. We have, well, obviously seafood is what we have in abundance in the lake system. So we have obviously lots of fish, crabs, shellfish, and further north at Malakuta, you can buy abalone. It's famous for its abalone as well. So anyone on a self-drive itinerary can really sort of stop and enjoy that experience. We have a hatted restaurant, Sardine, which you can see there. Sardine is at Paynesville, so you can stop and have a really beautiful meal. Fresh local seafood and produce. They really focus on the produce of East Gippsland before you go over to Raymond Island to look at the koalas. So Sardine is one of our favourites, as is the Long Paddock, which is a really rustic kitchen experience. So this is a place where you go for some really good authentic home cooking. Lovely, big, delicious meals there as well. Focusing on the local produce again. But of course, I guess particularly we know our friends from Southeast Asia love their seafood. So you can actually buy fish straight off the wharf here in the Lakes region and enjoy your fresh seafood and shellfish straight fresh from the ocean. We even put it on our pizzas, George.
Jeez, I tell you what, I'm getting hungry right now. Stop it, Alison.
So we really do have a great bountiful harvest of food both on and off the water. We also have a beautiful winery trail, and there's one of our best cellar doors there. That's Lightfoot and Sons, which has a gorgeous cellar door with a panoramic view right out across East Gippsland Plains there. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous country that you can stand and enjoy a glass of wine as you watch the sunset and really enjoy our Pinot Noirs, which we're famous for. You can also go to Farm Gates, and here's one. This is Picnic Point Farm.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go here and buy the local produce just as it's come straight off the tree. This is obviously showing you a picture of the apple orchard, but there's lots and lots of bountiful fresh produce there.
Just looks stunning, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. So there's also nice accommodations on Gippsland Lakes.
That's right. So we are, of course, here at Jetty Road Retreat, which we love, and I won't go into that in any detail because Kim is here to talk to you a little bit later on about that. But yes, we have a number of accommodation options. So in Meetung we have 5 knots, which consist of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. As you can see, they're right on the water there. They've got their own jetty. So it really, focusing on that coastal village landscape at 5 knots, a high-end product. Macmillan's of Meetung is just down the road, again at Meetung. And this property has, again, 1, 2 and 3 bedroom style accommodation, very family friendly. You can see they've got a kids playground, a pool and all sorts of, a grassed area there, lots and lots of space for the kids to run around and go wild. And then in Lakes Entrance itself, we've got the Bellevue Hotel. So the Bellevue, again, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms. It's really easy to remember all our accommodation. They're quite well configured. And that's right on the Esplanade in Lakes Entrance, so really central to everything in that particular village. And lastly, the Esplanade Hotel, this one is called, and this is more of a resort style accommodation offering with an indoor and an outdoor pool. George, they've got a day spa, they've obviously got an on-site catering food available, so it's everything you'd want in a resort style of holiday.
Well, start booking, guys, because it's quite spectacular, this region, and there's a lot of food and drinks. But thanks anyway, Alison. It's so important that your guests have great accommodation.
That's
right.
And
both Anthony and Paul has picked up a few nearby. So shall we go to that?
Absolutely. Let's go and have a look.
One of the great things about the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive is there is no shortage of accommodation, and we've got some pretty magnificent properties along the way. One of my favourites is the Riverslea in Bairnsdale, and I've got Rachel from the Riverslea at the moment. So Rachel, how long have you been at the Riverslea?
Gosh, it's nearly 5.5 years now.
Wow.
We've moved from Meetung to Bairnsdale, about 5.5 years ago. We brought the family in with schooling and have this wonderful business now.
And tell me about the property.
So it was originally a manor house and terrace housing, and it was converted into a hotel about 1985. So a big full refurbishment was done then, and then we actually did another refurb about 3.5 years ago, so we've brought it back to life again. So the building itself is 135 years old this year.
Wow. And how many rooms do you have?
We have 22, so all en-suited rooms, and we've kept as much of the heritage furniture as we had here, but we've also brought in a bit of a modern feel as well.
One of the things that I think is also really special about the Riversley is the catering. I mean, coming here for things like high tea and the meals and so forth, how much is the food and wine component of the property a part of the business?
Yeah, it is a big part, and we use as much local produce as possible as well. So we have a continental breakfast, which is included in all of our stays. So beautiful homemade muesli and poached fruit, and so everything we can do ourselves or buy in locally we have. Beautiful wines from the local wineries, Wyanga and Nicholson and Lightfoot's Winery. And we also have an all-day grazing menu, so people can come in at whatever time they like and have a lovely cheese and antipasto platter or a ploughman's platter with their wine or local beer, and yeah, it works really well.
So many fantastic wineries, and Rachel just mentioned Lightfoot, that's Lightfoot and Sons, and last night I had a bottle of their 2016 Pinot. It's one of the best Pinots I've had anywhere. It is an awesome wine.
It's certainly our most popular.
We were talking before we started rolling the camera on the international visitors, and you were saying some mornings you come down at breakfast and it's like pick the accent. Where are your international visitors coming from?
Look, primarily Germany and England would be the top two, but we are seeing emerging from Canada, America. Look, really all over now. Norway, we have great chats with people, to see where they've come from and, the rest of their trip around Australia. So, yeah, we love our international guests. It's a big part of the Riversley.
Okay, well, let's talk about locations. So you're located in Bairnsdale, which is not too far from Lakes Entrance and not that far from Wilson's Promontory National Park. But say within half an hour of the Riversley, what sorts of things can your clients do? Yeah,
probably the most popular is to go to the lakes. So we've got Lakes Entrance is just over 30-minute drive. So we always recommend that the customers get out onto the water to really get a feel of what the Gippsland Lakes and East Gippsland is about. So there's some great cruises, or you can hire a boat themselves, or paddleboarding, kayaking. There's lots of things to do on the water, and the dolphins are also a big draw card out there. Paynesville's only less than 15-minute drive, so driving to Paynesville, you can catch the ferry over to Raymond Island, which is a great day out to spot the koalas, and just a lovely little island. And then a little bit longer is the Buchan Caves, but that's probably a 45-minute drive from Bairnsdale, and that's a lovely day trip as well. Great for, doesn't matter what the weather's like, because it's a constant 22 degrees in the caves. So yeah, lots to see. Bairnsdale is just a really great base to go out and see all the wonderful things that the region has to offer.
Fantastic. So that's the Riversley, one of the great accommodation properties on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. Thanks, Rachel.
Very welcome. Thank you.
If you can see me now, call me
out. George, I think we're back on. George.
Oh. Just admiring the view. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for reminding me. Well, this is live TV for our Southeast Asia market. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for that, Paul, for that presentation. And here we have from Jetty Road Retreat, right here in the heart of Gippsland Lakes. We have Kim. How are you, Kim?
Hi, George. I'm really good.
Oh, Nagurna is a hidden gem in Gippsland Lake region. This is the area of Nagurna. What exactly your location between Sydney and Melbourne? Tell our clients.
Yep, it's a hidden gem, and it's hard to say, but we are located just 3 hours east of Melbourne, along the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive, and we are in between the well-known tourist towns of Lakes Entrance and Meetung. So we're just 15 minutes drive from Lakes Entrance, 10 minutes to Meetung, and we are in this beautiful lakeside setting, which feels a million miles away from the holiday crowds, but as I said, we're just 5 minutes off the coastal drive. And when our guests get here, they've got this magnificent waterfront view and this beautiful setting where they can just really relax and take it all in, as we have been.
Yes, we certainly have been. And what do your international visitors enjoy most about your property?
That's a toss-up between the breathtaking views and the native bird life. So we have an amazing array of native birds that frequent our accommodation. It's not uncommon to see a dozen different bird species during your stay. Obviously, being by the water, it is a wildlife haven. So you might be lucky enough to see a pod of dolphins going by in the morning.
Fantastic.
There are echidnas that come around. This is a shot of one of our two-bedroom bedroom self-contained cabins. So you can see
It's beautiful.
they're very comfortable, very light-filled. Each of them has the most magnificent view of the lake. So there's no such thing as a bad view from any of our retreats. And you really are up in the treetops. So you really have that kind of 360 surround of nature, whether it's the water or the treetops.
And it's just a vibe. It's just a really good vibe.
It is a vibe. There's something about being beside the water that can be quite meditative for our guests.
Oh, lovely rooms. Look at that. Beautiful deck.
There's a great view from one of the decks. All of the decks have outdoor dining. Each of the cabins is equipped with a little fire pit, so you can light a fire on dusk and look up at the most amazing blanket of stars, which I think we're going to enjoy later on tonight.
That's right, and we're on one of your decks now.
We are
doing these wonderful interviews. Now, how do you ensure each guest has a great time during their visit?
Yeah, well, we are a family-owned business. We're owner-operators, so we being me, I drop the kids off at the school up the road, and then I come down and meet our guests in person. I try and have some farm fresh eggs in the fridge when they arrive because we're on a farm just close by, and I really just try to understand what sort of experiences are they interested in discovering, what do they know about the region, and how long do they have to really kind of immerse themselves, and then I'm just very happy to provide ideas and suggestions on what they can see. Here's a shot of our private jetty. So for our Southeast Asian guests, fishing, catching sand crabs, those are the sorts of experiences that you can have here, George. And a lot of people don't realise that, but this is what's on offer here at Jetty Road Retreat on the Gippsland Lakes.
Yeah,
here's one of our lorikeets.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of our cockies. So the birds aren't here at the moment, but you're seeing some great images of the birds that we have here. And that's the Nungurna foreshore. So that's what our cabins are overlooking, and that's just a little beach that for swimming or paddling, it's right at your doorstep.
It's quite amazing. And when I came here last night, I'm staying here at this beautiful property, and one of the things I noticed as well, apart from being such a beautiful, clean accommodation with amazing views, is I have never seen the sky at night sky as bright as I've ever in my life. I've been all over Australia, and I was just blown away by seeing the millions of stars. And if you want a place in the world to see that, it's definitely here in Gippsland. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very
George.
much. Gippsland has so much to offer. Let's cross back to Paul as to see what he's up to now. Looks like wildlife hotspot in Paul.
So all along the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive, there's some awesome wildlife viewing experiences, and none better than here at Raymond Island. Now, it's very easy to get over to Raymond Island because it's a ferry, and the crossing distance is very short. In fact, it only takes 2 minutes to get across. Now, this is the ferry, and it operates 7 days a week. There is a charge to drive over, but for foot passengers and cyclists, it's completely free. So what we recommend is to park your car on the Paynesville side and then get on the ferry as a foot passenger and come across to Raymond Island. Now remember, once you get to Raymond Island, people actually live here. So respect that and keep things nice and quiet as you walk around and view the koalas. Once you arrive on the Raymond Island side of the ferry, you see this koala information board, and they've got some guide maps here as well, and they're only $2. And all the proceeds go to support the well-being of the koalas, so make sure you donate. All right, let's go and check out the koalas on Raymond Island. So as you make your way around Raymond Island, it's very well signposted, so it's really easy to find the koalas by following the signs, just like this one. So from the ferry terminal to this part where you've got all of these beautiful trees all over the place is about 5 minutes walk, maybe 10 if you're really slow. And on the way here, we'd already counted 4 koalas. And since arriving, there's one in the tree up here, there's another one over there, and they can be anywhere between the very top of the tree or down somewhere relatively close. Like this one we saw on the way was actually crossing the road and in a bit of a hurry to get up the next tree as well. Another great thing about this part of Raymond Island is the echidnas. If you're really lucky, you just might spot one. Well, our koala viewing experience here at Raymond Island is almost done. We've been here for about half an hour and so far we've counted 9 koalas today. This is the 9th one up here, just having a little feed. So if you want to see koalas in their natural habitat, no fences, no cages, just natural koalas exactly where they live, check out Raymond Island on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive in beautiful Gippsland, Victoria.
Thanks, Paul. Raymond Island looks so awesome, doesn't it? Wow, the amount of koalas and when we went on the boat today, we saw loads of kangaroos and black swans and Alison.
A really popular activity to
is.
do on Raymond Island is actually count the number of koalas. The last time I went out there, I saw about 22, but I hear people that come back and say over 30, 30 plus koalas when they're walking around the island. It's just phenomenal.
And surely, Kim, you might have seen some creep up here some days, maybe.
Well, nearby at Nyrimalang, which is a historic homestead, there is a smaller colony of koalas. that have been relocated from Raymond Island when the numbers got too high and there was not enough trees left.
But like you said, there's a lot of rosellas and cockatoos and bird life and we've been inundated all this morning about it. But so thank you guys for joining. But Paul has also been very busy. What are you up to now, Paul? I believe you're at another accommodation.
Continuing to check out some of the fantastic accommodation that we have on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. And I've got Jan with me from Waverley House Cottages. And
Yes,
Jan,
she is.
we were trying to work out how long you've been a part of Sydney Melbourne Touring. It must be eons.
Yes, I think I must just about be one of the originals now. I think from about 2007, if
Awesome.
I was having a quick guess.
So the property is called Waverley House Cottages. Tell us about the cottages. How many do you have and what styles they have?
Right, well, we've got 6 cottages and there are 3 different types. The one we're sitting in now is a 2-bedroom cottage. There are also 1-bedroom cottages and there's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottage. So
And fully self-contained?
fully self-contained. So we're self-catering cottages. That sometimes is something I like to, reassure international guests with, because they'll sometimes come from a hotel in Melbourne and think they're getting daily service, or they'll ask me where the restaurant is. So we put in breakfast packs for guests who would request them. But otherwise, the things that excite them the most when they come in here are the lovely, spacious, homely feeling cottages, but also there's a full kitchen and a full laundry.
Let me show you the laundry. Now, having a look at this, it just looks like a cupboard, doesn't it? But as we open up these 2 doors here, voila, we have a full laundry, the washing machine, the dryer, the ironing board, it's all there. So it certainly is fully self-contained. And of course, if people don't want to self-cater, there's plenty of dining options like 5 minutes away.
Yes, lovely cafes. One lucky thing being in a tourism area is that in Lakes Entrance, the restaurants don't all close for most of the days of the week. In the quieter times, there are lots of cafes and there are a number of restaurants that stay open each night. They will look to close a bit earlier sometimes, but I can always rest assured that guests arriving even reasonably late can get a nice, hopefully, seafood meal if that's their desire.
Yeah, lovely.
In our area.
Beautiful. Now,
Yes.
now Waverley House Cottages, you built them from scratch.
We did. My husband's a builder and I'm a retired art teacher, so they are the inevitable collaboration between an art teacher and a builder. Fair bit of attention to detail. We are very proud of them, but we're also in a lovely setting. We bought the property purely because it had established trees on it, and so we've been able to nestle the cottages in amongst lovely gums and continue to add to the plantings around the cottages as well. Yes.
Just having a look and flicking through the guest book here, how does it feel when you're coming in to do a makeover on a room and you're reading some of these comments from your international guests?
They're lovely guest comments, and often we'll pick up on things that we take for granted, like particular trees or shrubs that are around the cottages, or of course the birds. Yes.
And Waverley House Cottages isn't just about the cottages. On the property, you've got swimming pools, barbecue sites, jacuzzis. Tell us about what else you can do on site.
As well as the cottages themselves, each having a spa bath or a 2-person spa in them. There's the swimming pool with a covered barbecue area, so you can go and cook something out there and maybe mingle with other guests if you'd like to. Or there's the hot tub, which is over in the other section of the cottages, and that's kept at a nice 34 degrees. And so there is the bonus of being able to soak those aching bones, even if you've just been sitting in a car for a while. So they used a lot and most appreciated. So
beautiful destination. Yes. So George, as you can see, it's almost 10 years since I started with Sydney Melbourne Touring, and working with people like Jan, I just don't want to look at any other job. I just love this this drive along the coast. It really is a magnificent place. Jan, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And back to you, George.
Thanks, Paul. Looks like I need to do a spa too very soon. But why would I? Because look where I am. And Anthony, welcome back.
Thank you.
Mate, you know, you must pinch yourself every day working in a region like Gippsland.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of the best undiscovered area in Australia. As I said, it's just absolutely beautiful. Very Australian, as I would say. It's the way you experience that authentic Australian experience, and it's just so relaxing, and then you just don't want to go anywhere else. You just want to stay here for as long as you can.
And we certainly are enjoying our stay here at Jetty Road Retreat. And Anthony, Sydney Melbourne Touring has some great partnerships. Tell us about them.
Yeah, thanks very much, George. Yes, we can't do this without our corporate partners. So as you can see, Big Four Holiday Parks as well as Caravan Camping Industry Association in New South Wales. They have great camper van parks along the drive, especially Coastal Drive as well as Inland Drive. And it's great. It's a great way to explore our touring routes with camper vans. And talking about which, THL with Brits and Maui, they have great vehicles, RVs and camper vans you can hire as well. And it's one of the most popular brand in Australia here. And then as well as Murray River region along the Inland Drive, which hopefully we will do more live streaming from that area in the future.
That's right, and I hope you are enjoying this live streaming here at Gippsland region, southeast corner of Australia. And Anthony, since we are part of the Sydney Melbourne Touring Route live stream program, where are we going to go next week?
Yes, so next week, which will be our last live stream event, we're going to go to what I call the Jurassic Park of Australia, Wilson's Promontory National Park. As you can see, wonderful views. It's just one of the best places again in Australia. It's also in Gippsland as well, so it's going to be same time next week, but it will be on Thursday, as you can see Thursday 4th of April, but same time of that day, and then we're going to go live stream there.
That looks spectacular. Anthony, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Sydney Melbourne Touring. I have a bit of a shiver shake at the moment. I'm going, because it's such a wonderful feeling to be here. So
we've convinced you, because George, as you said, it's the first time you've actually been here.
First time I've been here, and I'm blown away. And I'm not kidding, guys. Even though I'm a presenter,
so we've sold you, haven't we?
I'm just letting you know that I'm coming back here so many times. And I'd like to also thank our hosts today from Jetty Road Retreat, who are market ready. So if you've got self-drive itineraries or any itineraries of private tours for high-end customers, but this is not as expensive as what you think. It is really good.
It's a great place to stay.
Great place
self-contained as well. Very flexible. It's just absolutely waterfront view. Can't get better than this.
So from everyone in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, see you next time, next week at Wilson's Prom.
Bye.
Bye.